Hi guys, Phil here, and I've got for you today the brand new Majestic Overdrive from the lovely people at Rockett Audio. It's a really awesome 70s Led Zeppelin inspired overdrive pedal, and this was the pedal that you heard at the beginning of the track. All of the guitars on that track were recorded using this straight into my Victory V40 set clean, and yeah, sounds really awesome. It's really good. It's really well made, it's really rugged, really nice solid metal construction, and the top mounted jacks are great as well, so it's dead easy to fit onto your pedal board. You can squash all your pedals together, it's not going to take up too much space. It's actually a little bit smaller than your standard pedal as well. It probably doesn't look like it in this video, but it's just a tiniest bit littler than usual. And yeah, really great sounding pedal. Volume, gain, treble and bass. So simple controls, your basic on-off switch, and yeah, just with it set as it is at roughly kind of 12 o'clock, this is what it sounds like. I'll give you the clean tone first. So we've got the Shawbucker in the bridge here, and then we've got two Seymour Duncan Antiquity Surfer 60 pickups in the neck and the single coil. So here's the neck. Okay, so that's how the neck sounds, and here's the bridge. So the amp just on the verge of breakup. I'm actually running this in the high headroom mode, but in the single-ended mode. So any of you who are familiar with the Victory stuff, I'm running it in just 1.5 watts instead of in 40 watts. So we can, at sensible volumes, I mean it's still pretty loud to be fair, but at sensible volumes we can get some of that power amp saturation going on in the tubes, so we can try and hear what this pedal would sound like at a more kind of realistic gigging volume, basically, because as you all know, it all interacts differently when the tubes are cooking or when they're not cooking and all that kind of thing. So here it is. This is what it sounds like in its current setting. So you can hear it's really nice and organic and thick sounding, and yeah, it's not too gnarly or anything like that. It's just straight at pretty much 12 o'clock. It's just a really gorgeous, lovely, super usable sound. And the thing that I found with this pedal when I was playing around with it was that the controls, they're super responsive, and they've got a huge kind of range in each parameter. So I reckon this means, you know, if you've got a slightly darker amp, you're going to be able to get enough brightness. If you've got a really bright amp, you're going to be able to compensate and bring down some of the high end, but without it sounding like you've put a blanket over it, if that makes sense. And the other really cool thing is these controls, they interact with each other as well, so they're not kind of separate. If you change the volume and the gain, then that will alter the EQ slightly as well, so you need to compensate for those kinds of things. So I'll give you an example of that. So let's take the gain control, and let's just back the gain control all the way to pretty much off. So that's with the gain off, so it's super neutral, but it sounds a little bit flat, so we just need to add a little bit more of the sparkle back in, which has the treble on this side. So I'm going to just dial in just a bit more of that treble. See if we've got this about right. So there, now we've got all that lovely sweet top end has come back, all the complexity to the sound is there. It sounds really beautiful, really amazing sounding, you know, kind of push clean sound, I suppose. So there we go, really nice sound, really nice sound. So just to contrast that, let's go completely the other way. Let's max out the gain control and just hear what effect on the sound that has. Nice, really nice, huge, thick, fat, classic rock sound. You can hear it's not overly saturated, there's not loads of like humming, even with the volume control back up. Even on the single coils, there's a little bit, but you know, it's not like, it's not really bad. So really, really usable amounts of gain all the way through, like even maxed out all the way to the top on 10, even all the way off, and everything in between. So you're going to be able to really fine tune the type of overdrive sound that is that you want to get out of it. Now the thing that I particularly actually like about this pedal is if you actually max out the volume control as well. So I'm going to max that out, and what we're going to hear is, if I'm going to back off the gain first, back there to 12 o'clock. So let's put the gain back at 12 o'clock, volume back at 12 o'clock here, so we can hear that sound that we had at the start. I'm just going to back the treble back just a little bit. Okay, so there we go. So really nice, sparkly, fat, thick rhythm guitar sound. Now if I push the volume control, is this the right one? Yes it is. So if I push the volume control, max it all the way up, we're going to hear the pedal hitting the front end of the amp a lot harder now. So we're going to get a more aggressive, more throaty kind of sound, which just sounds amazing. It'll sound like it's gainier, but we've not actually added in any more saturation. What we're getting is the natural power amp distortion, which is what those massive amazing tones from back in the day were, when you were allowed to kind of crank everything on 10. Whereas these days we're sort of not usually allowed to do that as guitar players anymore, but there we go. So, so this is what that sounds like. So you can hear it's, oh yeah, oomph, loads of oomph. We're kind of hearing a little bit more treble, we're hearing a little bit more bottom end as well. And the bottom end actually on that, we're starting to kind of, you can feel that sag starting to come in under the fingers when you're playing. So let's try with, let's max out the gain just for some, oh, wrong way. Let's max out the gain just for some fun as well. So let's hear what that looks like. So huge, really awesome, huge sound. Okay, so before I annoy the neighbours, I'm just going to back this to about here. So you can hear there, we've gone back to a more modest kind of tone, I suppose. So you can hear there's a huge, huge range in there, but even with those controls maxed out, it doesn't sound like the pedal suddenly sounds terrible. It just sounds like it's breathing fire. You know, it just sounds awesome. Really, really cool. So let's hear the effects that the bass control is going to have on here, because we haven't experimented with that yet. So let's turn the bass off. There it is on full. Sorry, off, my bad. Here it is off. So it's kind of shelved off the bottom end, but it's not made it go really thin. So if you had a less bright guitar than I've got, if you had like a mahogany bodied Les Paul or something like that, you might find that actually is going to be really great, because if the pedal sounds too dark, Les Pauls are sort of very thick, dark sounding guitars, so you can kind of tame that depending on what guitars are running through. But you can hear it hasn't really drastically changed the vibe of the pedal at all. we're just kind of hearing it more like a post EQ kind of thing if you were mixing in Logic or something like that. So really well thought through and responsive controls. Let's try it with the treble. So treble all the way off, not too keen on that. Maybe if I had a super bright guitar, but let's do it with the treble all the way up, just so we can hear. Woo! Super bright. So very powerful control on the treble side here. So again, let's put it about there. Put a bit more brightness back in there, and let's push the volume as well. So let's push the volume a bit harder. So really nice, big glassy sound. If I put some delay on, this is the only other pedal in the chain, is the Wampler analog echo. So it's guitar, the Majestic, delay, straight into the front of the amp. Nothing else, no other wizardry going on. There you go, pardon me for the wrong chords in the sequence there, but there you go. So there you have it, guys, the Majestic Overdrive. Really amazing, very powerfully versatile overdrive pedal. I would thoroughly recommend that you guys go and pick one up. Adios, see you later.